Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventures from the Stream map making. My name is Jason, and I am a player on Adventures from the Stream. I'm also a longtime dungeon master. You can find me DMing at Natural 20s, my personal page where I stream with several other awesome D&D role players, and I personally am just a big fan of the hobby, world building, and everything else. Just like anything with tabletop games, it is a collaborative process. So I worked with Joe, our DM for Adventures from the Stream, on helping him make the world map and different maps for our games that you'll see on Adventures from the Stream or adventuresfromtheshed.com. Definitely go out there, check them out, give us a like. As you can see right here, we have some helpful pages where you can come down and check out all of our stuff. We actually have quite a bit of content on adventuresfromtheshed.com. You can actually come over to us and give us a like on Facebook, where we post updates and links to all of our streams and podcasts. And like I said, if you would like to go over and check out my personal page where I actually do DMing, post memes and things like that at Natural 20s, you can also find those right there. Definitely stop by, give us a like, give us some love. We would appreciate it. Now, when it comes down to map making, I used to use line graph paper or battle grids and things like that in my games. Moving to virtual, it was very, very tough for me to be able to put those things down on a camera and set up some sort of display to share that with my players who are playing now from their homes remotely and all these other things. Good news is there's a lot of options out there for dungeon masters and players to create wonderful worlds and maps for your games online. If you watched our Session 0, which I highly recommend, you can see exactly what we are trying to build. Session 0, we established that we were in the town of Breford, next to Lake Lunette. This world was in the land of Coradigis. Yeah, that is where it was called. Coragis. It was in this world here that I'm going to be showing you on the screen. So this here is the map making software that I used, and I made kind of a basic blank template of different realms, different climates, and things like that here for our actual world map. As you can see, Breford is right here. It is supposed to be a sleepy little mountain town governed by a absolutely badass dwarven female. Now, when I decided to collaborate with Joe and help him with the map-making process, he sent over to me some ideas that he had for the actual city layout and how it was supposed to look. I highly encourage always collaborate with your players, DM two players, because again, it just expands the creativity. I know that DMs are storytellers and they're world builders, but not everything should be coming from you all the time. Put some of that on your players and have them help you design out the world. So Joe sent me over several little things that he wanted to see inside the town. Let's take a look and see exactly what we are getting ourselves into. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is a great example of how map making software can help us, because if you're like Joe and like myself, you probably don't have a lot of discernible artistic talent. These things can help us when it comes down to it, and I'm going to need all the help I can get for this one. So it looks like we are dealing with Breford being at the top of a mountain with a bunch of trees. I'm guessing what these are here. These are the trees. We have some farms. We have Boo First at highest PT, highest point. And then we have the mountain is shaggy, is what it is. It's got some hair on it. And then there's a big sky. No, that's the lake. That's the lake. That's Lake Lunette. Yes. And then Annan, who is the dwarven female, that must be her home. Okay. All right. Well, let's. You also sent me over another photo here to give me a side. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was the lay. Okay. All right. Well, we've got our work cut out for us. So let's get started and let's see about trying to put this concept, this high-level concept, onto actual paper. Now, like I said before, I use Inkarnate. It's a phenomenal tool, and I cannot recommend it enough for dungeon masters or players who are looking to world build. Just get in there and mess around with it. It is, quite honestly, incredibly easy to use, and for the price, it's typically $5 a month or $25 for the year. It is probably the most cost-effective map-making tool I have used for what you're getting in return as far as the support, the digital assets that they give you, and all that kind of fun stuff. Highly recommended. Check them out. Okay, so as you can see here, this is our map-making starting page here. We get a chance to start off where we're going. You have, of course, regional, fantasy world, parchment. You have a bunch of different things here. This is just a small town, so we're going to go with the regional. And again, let's go ahead and start off with the classic setting. Okay, now, first things first, you have your different tools off to the side here. We have our texture tool, which is a bunch of different types of land or water or assets that you can put onto the actual map, like so here. We can, of course, adjust things and make them look good. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to put down a nice green base. There we go. We need some water. I didn't like the initial blue, the super dark blue of that. I want this one to be a little bit more like a cleaner or crisper looking kind of a lake here. So we're going to go with this style blue, and we are going to use the edge shape, which will give it a little bit of texture around the edges, so it's not just this smooth thing. So we're going to go and make this thing look kind of like his initial design here. So let's just go ahead and do that. We're going to just make a nice little U shape. All right, let's go back to the, okay. So it is one single kind of mountain with farms, trees, and a road. Does the road go sideways and then up? Is that what it does? Sideways, up? Okay, yeah. Sideways and up. Fine. All right, so let's take a look and see what we have. So they use stamps. Now, they have a lot of pre-made assets in here. As you can see, if you click on the stamp asset icon, you can actually see all the stuff. They have about 1,300 icons in here that you can use, and several of them have different kind of artistic styles on them. Let's take a look and see what we have for mountains. Now, in our session 0, we did not establish that this mountain range was frigid, so I'm assuming that this mountain range is going to be more foresty or just typical kind of mountainish. So we're going to stick with these ones here. No, that doesn't look good. Let's see here. Oh, well, that might work. That might work here. So once we have the image down, we can actually stretch it out to fit our needs. So let's just go ahead and make this mountain relatively large, and maybe we can pepper in the actual city inside there. What we want to do, though, is we want to, because that's kind of weird having a lone mountain by itself. Let's go ahead and adjust the size, and let's put some little baby mountains. All right, now what I typically try to do is I try to fill in the map with as many assets as I can, to try to kind of cover up some of the rough edges on there, as they don't, usually blend super well. But that's what I typically kind of like to do here, but we'll see how well that goes. There's supposed to be a road leading up into it here. The one thing with Inkarnate is it does not necessarily allow a texture to be put on top of the assets. I don't know if that's something that they're planning on improving in the future, where you can actually draw on the assets themselves. Maybe Inkarnate, that'd be cool. But we're going to do our best with what we have. So let's go ahead here, and we've kind of got a good base for our mountains, but let's ease those mountains off a little. Let's look at some hills here. We got some green hills, and let's try to, just pepper in a few little green hills in our mountain. I don't think that looks horrible. I don't think it looks that bad. Let's go ahead and delete this here, so that way there's a nice little path up into the actual town. All right. All right, trees. Now, they have a lot of tree assets in here, and some of them are single standalone trees. Let's go ahead and use the deciduous trees here, and let's make sure the right size. Now, these are pretty big compared to that mountain, but it's a map, and we want to make sure that they're kind of visible here. So let's go ahead and pepper in some mountains, some trees around these mountains here. Now, I want to always, again, consider the spacing that I have. Since this is a town and they're next to a lake, I would assume that there's also some form of potential fishing or something that the residents there use to actually, make use of the lake that they have. So I'm going to actually save some space over on this end here, and I'm actually going to add in maybe a building or a dock or something like that. Maybe just make it feel a little bit more, open. But I think that looks pretty good so far for a little bit of a base here. Now, again, I can try to pepper in some trees on the actual mountain itself, but because trees might be a little bit different, I'm going to go maybe a different kind of tree on this. I'm maybe going to go for a pine just to give a little bit more dimension, and I'm going to add some pine into here as well to help the tree line out, and just go ahead and add a little bit more into there. One thing I like to do is I typically like to kind of look around through some of the assets and just see if there's anything cool that I could add in. Now, go ahead and take a look here. On his map, he said there was Breford here, and there were some farms. Now, it's kind of weird to have farms maybe on the side of a mountain? Maybe? Do farms exist on side of mountains? It's fantasy. Who cares? We can make whatever we want. Let's go ahead and try to make some here. Let's just go ahead and put this little farmland down here. Put some... Well, I don't know. That doesn't look good. Delete. I think we might make just a couple of farms maybe at the base, and then have the rest of the town moving up. I think that might look good, and it might make more sense. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put a little farm here. Happy little farm. Just right there. And we're going to try to make it to a decent scale. Let's go ahead and just put another one there. And then we will put another little farm here. Let's see. That's a lumber mill. Well, a lumber mill, I mean, that could be farm-like. Yeah, let's see here. Now, we can also just search for things on here, which is really nice. So we got farms. Let's see here. Which farm do we like? Let's go with this one. This one here. Now, of course, always try to size things to make sense, based on the size of the mountain and and the actual size of the buildings. Some things might be a little bit off scale. Like same thing for the trees. Trees probably wouldn't be that maybe sparse or spread out, and they probably wouldn't be maybe that visible. But this is a fantasy map, and we need to use it for our players to be able to see things and identify things. So I personally might mess with scale just a little bit, just so the idea and the concept comes across. So I don't think that looks bad. If you think it looks bad, let me know. But I don't think it looks that bad. Okay. Let's get back out of here. Let's go into the actual town. So let's go ahead and start with our first thing, which was Annan's house. So Annan's house was, in our session 0, described as, kind of rustic and big kind of double doors. Now, obviously, again, I don't have custom-made assets. I'm not a very good artist at all. So let's see what we have here for Annan's house. I think this looks good right here. And Annan's house was supposed to be, oh, again, it disappears behind the mountains here. Let's move this up. It was supposed to be towards the highest point of the cliff. Now, this cliff here is a little bit pointy, so I don't think that she'd have her house necessarily like at the exact tip of it. I think that might be a little bit too extreme. And then what we can try to do is we can try to build houses down into this area here, leading up into the actual mountain range. I think that's what we're going to try to do. So let's go ahead and do that, and we are going to take this. Now, one cool thing with Inkarnate is that it does have random stamp options. So if you are trying to put down a bunch of trees or things like that, you can have this enabled. And as you can see, I can just simply place things and they will appear on the actual mountain range. Now, one thing I also let Joe know is that stamp assets don't always coincide and look really good standing on top of another stamp. I'm sure there's probably a way to make them look better and blend together. I personally just don't know how to do it myself. Still learning, so we'll see here. Let's put a little market in here. We'll put the market kind of in the center, and we'll place some things, because this is a kind of touristy town, and it was said to have had you know, a kiosk and a gift shop and things like that here as we were going through our session 0 and making things. But let's go ahead and just give them a little bit of space. We might, let's go ahead and just lock the back of this here. One cool thing that you should do is if you have something that is set and pre-made that you really like the back of this mountain here, go ahead and just lock that item. That way it doesn't move around, and if I try to select certain things on it, I don't accidentally, you know, if I try to select this tree, I might move this mountain by mistake here. So the lock function, very good. All right, so let's go ahead here and let's make these things just a little bit smaller. I think it might just be a little bit too big on there. And the cool thing is with this, we can actually in game, through Roll20 and through some of the other functions that we use, we can just simply zoom in on certain things that we want to see. And Inkarnate actually has really good resolution change. So once we get closer in, it actually doesn't look that bad when it actually is fully zoomed in. Even enough space here. My God, I can't imagine living on here. Chance of rock slides and other things would be horrible. Now, what I'm doing is I'm using the same tinge of building for like the housing of it, and that's simply because it kind of gives uniformity to the feel of the place. These other houses in here, these other bigger buildings, one could be like, you know, a monastery, one of them could be a church, one of them could be, you know, town hall. It gives just a little bit of separation rather than having a clump of all the buildings together, and you know, having that kind of you know, weird look to the where you can't really, you know, determine what it is. You know, if you look at an overhead view of a city naturally, you'll see, you know, it's kind of in grids, and you can clearly see, oh, these are residential, these are commercial, these are things like that. So I like to have that in here as well, just so that there's a little bit of, you know, depth to what we're doing. Let's go ahead here and let's see. We need some stairs. Stairs. Oops, not stains. We need stairs. All right, so, okay, because I'm pretty sure that we are going to need a way for people to get up and out of things. Now, there's only one asset in here for stairs. I'm sure. Yeah, that works, I think. And then we are going to click another one here. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and flip this that way and see if we can get it, maybe if we are lucky, to line up through the houses. That doesn't seem right. So, I mean, I don't think it looks that bad, quite honestly. I don't think it looks that bad. Let's go ahead and fill in the other edges of this here because, again, I'm not happy with how these edges look. So let's go ahead and let's take a look and see what we have. Because it is a lake, I'm kind of looking for some docks. So let's see if we have any docks here. And let's go ahead and let's find us a good looking building for that. A bakery. Who wouldn't want a bakery right there? Who wouldn't want that? Let's an inn, yeah, absolutely, an inn. Let's go ahead and shrink this down. We could definitely have like an inn. This could be like maybe a little touristy area where people can come in when they're looking to visit. Let's go ahead and put that there. And maybe one other building just because it feels a little sparse. So we'll go ahead and maybe put one over there. I think that looks nice. Now, again, that's a little bit off in size. Let's just go ahead and try to match it up with some of the size that we have. I want the docks to be just a little bit more pronounced just because I think that looks good. All right, let's look at rocks. Rocky plateaus. Because it could be rocks here. No, that they don't need to be there. Nope. Let's go and find some other rocks here. Let's go ahead. Now again, I'm gonna have to move this one down a layer because it's going over my trees, and I don't want that. I definitely want the rocks to be more. Yeah, I don't think that looks that bad. Let's go ahead and let's add a road. So we're gonna go ahead and get a little road here. Now, they have different names for different textures in here. I typically don't really pay attention to the names because I've used the blue before for like sky. I've used different things for different things. So I just try to find the best looking one that will stand out, and then I kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and just see how this one looks, because I just want like a nice road path here, something that is clean, easy to see. And let's go ahead and fit this to the screen because it's always good to know where the heck you're supposed to be drawing at when you're zoomed in. All right, let's go ahead and make the path a little bit bigger just so that way we can see where it's coming from. So it's going to be coming in from here, I believe, according to the guidance that I was given. There's a road that way and then up. Okay. That's all I was given. So we're going to have the road come up through here. It's going to come up, and it's going to go up and into the actual mountain. Now, again, the actual program does not let me draw textures onto the actual thing. It actually has a little road path tool that I'm going to use instead so that people can't... Oh, no, that looks bad. I think that looks fine. Yeah. And then let's just go ahead and then just follow that up to here. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what else we can add in to make the world see a little bit better. So let's add some vegetation into here because it's really weird that you would have, say, some trees and things. Oh, let's go ahead and bring those up. Some trees and things, but you wouldn't have any vegetation going on it. So let's go ahead. Oh, come on. Okay. Let's go ahead and make that just a little bit smaller because those seem like some pretty big chunks of vegetation. But we can actually have some vegetation a little bit higher on the mountain simply because, sometimes vegetation, it's easier for smaller plants to grow on a mountain versus massive trees. I don't think I'm right on that. I'm probably horribly wrong. Don't quote me on it. But that's just how it is in this world. So, let's add some waves in the water. Okay, let's go ahead here. And let's rotate this around so it looks like the waves are coming in. But I think they might be coming in this way. think everything might be coming straight down. So let's just go ahead and add some of that in. Here, here, there. All right, so, and again, I always try to be more realistic. You might not necessarily see waves that far out, so we'll just, you know, kind of have a few less, but as the water rolls in quickly, more waves start to roll up as it starts to hit that shoreline. Again, I'm probably wrong on how that works. Okay, let's see if we have any boats. I need some boats here. So they have just Viking boats and these boats. Now, these boats here are not necessarily what I'm looking for. Good news is, with this program, you can actually access any of the other assets that they have by simply clicking on them. So this will give me more boats. Okay, well, you know, let's just make do with this here. We'll make it a little bit smaller because it's a lake, and we'll just have these things kind of like tied up over here at the dock. There we go. Yeah, that works. Let's see what else we have. Let's put a little fire here. You know, it's a little inn. It's gonna have a little bit maybe of a bonfire thing going on. Yeah, it's definitely, that works. Now, these little things here, they won't be seen and they probably won't even be considered, but I like adding them in simply because it just adds a little bit of, you know, depth to the overall, you know, drawing, at least in my opinion. Now, I got to do something about this here because the mountain kind of just disappears. So let's just take a look at this, and let's just go ahead and add just a little bit of land around there. All right, now I need to add in a little bit more trees because it's kind of weird that this side of the road is completely barren and the other side is, you know, full of lush, delicious trees. So let's go ahead and add some trees. Okay, so, I mean, this right here is a basic little town map. I'm going to go ahead and call it here for today. I'm going to submit this over to Joe. We're going to see what he has to say about it, and then most likely trash it, come back and try again. So thank you so much for watching this here. Again, please, if you liked what you're seeing, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. We appreciate the support. We are brand new to streaming, and we would really appreciate any feedback, any comments. Just saying hello to us means the world to us here, as we are just, you know, very passionate people about tabletop and having fun with your friends. Hopefully, this maybe inspired some of you to try out map making through Inkarnate. Again, I find it incredibly easy and very helpful for me when it comes down to getting in the creative world building process. If it didn't, maybe hopefully you were just slightly entertained. And if not, I still thank you for watching. So hopefully I'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, if you have anything else, please like, follow, comment, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. We really appreciate it. Thank you.